Never met.
Hello there. Bit intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah, look at these. This is very intimidating. This is different Star Wars fan groups of the San Antonio area.
Hi guys. You having a good time?
We'd like to thank you guys for going. You guys can head off. I don't want them standing there the whole time. They're going to fall off the stage or something. No, you guys can go.
Great, well done. Thank you.
So we actually had Simu Liu here last night. He said he's a huge fan of Obi-Wan and the show Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I asked if he had a question for you. And he said he wanted me to say hello there to you.
First time I've heard that this weekend.
So let's get started. I just wanted to start introductory question. How'd you guys get into the performing arts? Ewan, I'll start with you. How'd you get into to acting?
Say that again.
How did you get into acting?
Oh, acting. Well, I grew up in a small town in Scotland called Crieff, and my mum's brother, my uncle Dennis, is an actor and became an actor from that same small town. And he's in the Star Wars films. He plays Wedge Antilles in the original 3 films. And he was also in an amazing film called Okuhiro, and he was in a lot of television work in Britain. He did in the 80s and 90s. He became quite big in the West End and musicals. He's a sort of song and dance man. And so I grew up with this uncle who was an actor, and I think initially I just wanted to be like him. You know, I was sort of starstruck by my own uncle, and so that's. I often wonder if he hadn't become an actor, if he hadn't been an actor, would I still have thought to do it? I hope so. But who knows?
And he's still out there acting. He does a lot of theater. I've actually met him a couple times, and he's a great guy.
He's a great guy. He's doing these conventions now, so some of you might even have met him before. But he's brilliant, Dennis. Dennis Lawson is his name.
That's good. And Rupert, how'd you get into acting or into performing arts?
Well, I also grew up in a small town, a village really in England, and in our school they would have these careers advisors who would come and try and figure out what you're supposed to do with your life. And this guy had a computer program into which you entered answers. Do you like working with people? Do you like being outside? Do you like working with animals? And I answered all his questions, and he tapped them in and sort of scratched his head and said, I've never seen this before. And he turned the computer around to show me, it's just, the 90s, so it's a green screen Amstrad, and it said, there are no careers suitable for this candidate. And so I sort of looked to the more vagranty careers, like, running off to join the circus or, I don't know, rodeo, the sort of fun stuff. And I thought acting was the one that seemed to be the most different day to day, and here I still am. My oldest friend actually is now a very, very fine artist. And he was told by the same computer program that he should be a fish farmer. So there was clearly a corrupt program somewhere.
So what was it like first hearing about the new Kenobi series coming out? When you first heard that it was coming? Because I know you went for a long time, people asking you, people like me coming up and saying, when are you going to be back as Kenobi? And you having to maybe bib a little bit. What did you...
It happened really quite a long time ago. I'm not on, I don't do social media anymore, but for a time I did, and every day there would be sort of, are you going to, at the end of every interview I did for a period of time, maybe 10 years ago, there was the same 2 questions at the end of every interview. And they would say, are you going to do the sequel to Trainspotting? And will you play Obi-Wan Kenobi again? And those were always the last 2. And it was, you could guarantee that those were going to be the last 2 questions of an interview. And I was brought up to tell the truth. And so I would say, at first I would say, I don't want to do a sequel to Trainspotting. And then eventually I changed my mind. But with Obi-Wan, I would say, I would be up for doing it again, because I meant it. So eventually I got a phone call from my agent saying, there's a lady at Lucasfilm, I think Lucasfilm had just been bought by Disney, a lady called Kiri, and she said she wanted you to come in. So I went in to meet her, and she basically just said, is it true, we're reading a lot that you're saying that you would like to do. It looked a bit like I was trying to get work from Disney, really, because I was answering the question all the time. And I said, yeah, look, I would think it would be, I've always thought there must be a good story to tell between, the last episode 3 and A New Hope. And I think we found a really good story to tell, and that eventually became the series.
And so you don't like interviews being ended now asking about Train Spotting 3 and another Kenobi series, right? You don't want to hear that.
I think we will do a Train Spotting 3 when we're all in our 70s. And the 4 of us in some old age home for, retired drug users.
And
quite funny, actually.
And Rupert, how did you come on board on Kenobi?
I was asked by the casting director, who is a friend of ours, to consider this, and I, to be honest, never heard of the Inquisitors. Sorry, I'd never heard of them. But she sent me some of the artwork, and I thought it was extraordinary. And then the first thing it said in the script, after he's come in and to the canteen, is that he loves the sound of his own voice. And I thought, yeah, that's me. It can do.
Rupert, other than your own character, do you have a favorite Star Wars character?
Yeah, I mean, present company accepted. It was always a toss-up for me between Han Solo and Yoda. The sort of the swashbuckling kind of sass of Harrison Ford, and I don't know, the way Yoda talks always tickled me.
How about you, Ewan? Do you have other than Obi-Wan?
I had when I was a wee boy, I remember I had a Chewbacca, and I had an Alec Guinness, I had an Obi-Wan, and I had a Princess Leia. And I think Leia is, I think she's probably my favorite character. She's so ballsy and wisecracking and beautiful, and I think Princess Leia, I was always very in love with Princess Leia when I was a little boy. And then I was so lucky because later on in life I got to know Carrie Fisher, and was lucky to be able to become a friend of hers, and so that was a really beautiful journey. But I'll say Princess Leia.
And I mean, probably everybody in this room next week, we're all going to watch Kenobi again, and we're going to see you with the young Princess Leia, and that's going to have a different feeling. That's going to be
yeah.
That was you two were great together.
She's great. Oh my gosh, Vivian. We were just talking about her backstage. She's such an amazing little actor. She's an amazing actor, and she's such an amazing young person, isn't she? She's
like an old soul, very much.
And what was it like and most of these questions are coming from our audience here. This is the best audience in the world here in San Diego.
That's right.
Let's hear it. But Austin, I don't know if he's from Austin, Texas, or that's his name. He'd like to know, what was it like the first time seeing Hayden Christensen in the Darth Vader mask?
Well, you wouldn't have seen him if he was in the mask, would you?
This is a superhero comedy hour.
There was what happened before I worked with Darth Vader on set was I worked with a couple of stormtroopers in the series when Vivian and I end up on the mining planet, and we end up in that transporter, and some stormtroopers get on. And when they got on, I realized I'd never worked with a stormtrooper before. And it made me feel like I was a little boy again, like that image of looking into their face for real was really made me have that sort of like childish anxiety that you got from the Empire, But nothing compared to the first fight in episode 3 where Darth Vader's coming at me. He came at me over the shoulder, and we rehearsed the fight. We never rehearsed the fight in full costume or anything, but when we rehearsed the fight on set, his helmet wasn't on, And then they get ready to do the take, and they're doing my makeup and my faffing around my hair, and he's obviously getting the helmet on, but I didn't see it. So I'm walking down, and I hear him coming. They go, action! Turn around, and there's Darth Vader coming at me, with a red sword. And I won't say what I usually say because there's children present, but I got a terrible fright. It was something else, but it really was like a 7-year-old jolt of fear, it touched that had been locked inside me all those years. He's frightening too, the way, in the show. He's quite scary too. We'd have chats on set with all the prosthetics, a little straw drinking your tea.
And Rupert, so what was it like the first time you saw them in I won't say you saw him, but you saw him wearing the Darth Vader costume?
Yeah, it's like Ewan says, you get lost in this, because it's just like, as Shaw says in Jaws, like cold, dark, dull, dead, shark eyes, this kind of black mask, and you're staring and you can't really see yourself, you can't see anything, and it's just this huge, I don't know, I just found myself getting completely hypnotized by it. Scary.
Speaking of your scary costume, how long did that take to assemble to get that on?
My costume?
Yeah, your costume.
It was 4 hours of makeup to get it on, about half an hour to get into all the armor and stuff, and then an hour to get it all off. So my day began about 3 in the morning, and then this lot showed up at 7, bright and sunny, lovely night's sleep.
With his coffee in hand.
With his coffee. I can't drink coffee because I got false teeth in. So these guys, he just put some dressing gown on and showed up as far as I can.
So like I said, some of these questions came from the audience, so bear with me on this one. You did an interview where you said you were shooting scenes from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and something special happened on the set on May the 4th. What happened? I guess it wasn't said so in the podcast. Do you know what I'm talking about? Something special happened on May the 4th? Oh, God. Oh, you're getting it.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know that there was a story about that. Sorry.
Thanks, pal.
Maybe something special happened to somebody else on May the 4th, but...
Have you ever? Do you want to make something up? Are we still on this question?
We all switched characters for the day, and I don't know.
No, I don't remember. Sorry.
Another audience question. After the long period of time of not playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, what was it like coming back into that role?
It was brilliant to come back. It was such a brilliant experience. I've always tried to hold Alec Guinness's performances really close. I spend a lot of time before we start shooting thinking about him, watching him, not only in Star Wars, because it's amazing how iconic Alec Guinness is as Obi-Wan Kenobi from just a handful of scenes. He's not really in an awful lot of that first film. He's in a bit of it, but so I watch all those. I sort of listen to his voice a lot. But I like going back to watch on YouTube. I'll watch a lot of his interviews, and it was sort of in that hate glory day when actual actors were actually asked questions about their work and stuff in interviews, as opposed to nowadays, where
you just look right at me about saying that.
I know, you just sort of get made on television shows. You sort of just get made fun of now by comedians. But in the old days, there were people that were real interviewers, and sorry, guys. That's not nice, is it? I can just see, keep doing it. Every chat show I go on from now on is going to be a nightmare. Anyway, there was an interviewer in Britain called Parkinson, it was like an hour-long interview, and it would be on the weekends. And it was like an hour-long chat. It was really informative. And so I watch all of Alec Guinness's interviews and some of his early work. And so it was lovely to go back to playing him again, because I was so much closer to him in age than when he was 63, I think, when they shot A New Hope. I'm 51, so I'm a little bit closer to him in age than I was when I played him before. And it just felt great. It just felt great fun. That was a long answer.
We like long answers. Rupert, how did you find, getting into your character, developing your character?
Well, it was a challenge because, Jason Isaacs, who I'm an enormous fan of, had already voiced the character for Rebels. And so I was aware of that, but I didn't want to do a copy of someone else's, interpretation of the role per se, because, the animated world is such a different challenge. So it was that thing of trying to do something that was my own, but also have a nod to what Jason had done. And I spoke to Dave Filoni about it a little bit, and he said, remember that normally we do live action first, and then we move to animation, and in that transition we exaggerate the voice, we exaggerate the movements, we do things that we can't do in live action. And here we're going the other way, like with Rosario Dawson's show. So it's important to ground the character in a reality of your own design, I guess. So there was a complete artistic license to do kind of whatever with it while keeping the spirit of what we knew alive. That was really long-winded. Sorry, everyone. We're getting gassy.
That's what we're here for. We want to hear long good answers. Fantastic. I have another audience question from Andrea. She's a retired teacher, and she would like to know, do you have a teacher or mentor that encouraged and inspired you?
Yes. My music, when I was in school, I was only interested in, because I'm a creative person, I was only good or interested in artistic art, music, and my music and English to a degree. And my music teacher was a great inspiration in my life. Alison Hunter was her name. And so she was my favorite. We had she pushed me quite hard. She wanted me to be I played the French horn through school, and I think she always wanted me to be a professional French horn player. And I was disappointed that I went into this silly profession, but she was great. Yeah, I always remember her.
Didn't you do a movie with the French horn?
I played the tenor horn in Brastov, but similar. A funny story about that. So I could play that when we did Brastov. We were playing with a real Grimethorpe Colliery band, and we were playing them in the movie, but we were playing with the actual band, and they just sat the actors in the chairs of, in their respective places, and I'm sitting playing the tenor horn. And I realized, because I was a French horn player when I was a kid, I could play it. So when we did the scenes when we were playing, I'd just play along. And the guy next to me was the actual first tenor horn player in the band. And I said to him at one point, I said, why is it a bit flat when I play? And he looked at me and he went, because you can't play. And I said, okay, you have a go. So he played my horn and he went, oh yeah, it is a bit flat.
Vindicated. That's great.
Did you have a reaction when you first heard Obi-Wan's theme? Because Princess Leia, Darth Vader, they all have themes.
Yes.
Obi-Wan now has one.
There was two things that I was so moved by. I think it's so beautiful, the music. And I was also crushed because I wasn't there when they recorded it. And they recorded it in LA, and I was in LA, and John Williams had they'd managed to secure, up until that point, and the whole orchestra were unable to play together because of the COVID protocols that Disney had in place. But somehow he managed to, we got to a place where he was allowed to have the whole orchestra play together. But as a result, there was very, very few people allowed to go other than the musicians. And so I wanted very much to be there because I had met John Williams in the past, and I was there when they recorded the music for episode 3, which was unbelievable with all the choir. And when they recorded that in Abbey Road in London, I was present. So I wanted very much to be there for Obi-Wan's theme because my theme. But they wouldn't let me go because they wouldn't let me even sneak in the back, because they were so tight with the COVID rules.
Were you able to hear it when he played it live at Celebration?
I did, yeah. And I also, when they recorded it for the first time, and when it was played for the very first time, I was given a live link, so I was able to sit at home and listen to it live. So I was sort of present.
It's nice,
nice, isn't it?
have another audience question. Have either of you got a chance to go to Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars land at Disney?
Oh, no, I haven't.
I've been there.
Is it good?
Me and Mary went on when we were there for Celebration, and we just thought, okay, let's do it. So we put our masks on and we wore a cap. We went in at night. We spent like 2-3 hours in there. It was really cool. Who's been? Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's good. I really like the experience. That ride that they have is pretty awesome. And yeah, it's good. You can lose yourself in there.
You can lose a lot of money too. It's pretty. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I buy a lot. There's a lot of things to buy.
Yeah.
A lot of cool Obi-Wan shirts like the one you're wearing.
Right.
If you
The one you're wearing. Who designed that T-shirt you're wearing?
You know, Ewan, I'm glad you asked. Now, I did not ask you to ask this. I did. It's fine.
Very nice. Very good.
Thank you very much.
They're available, I believe, somewhere on the.
We can talk about it.
Okay.
You're going to get me NorthSeasonStore.com. Anyway, have you ever done a musical? Have you ever? I know you've done a musical. Would you ever do another musical?
Yes, I would definitely do it. Musical.
I haven't done one, no.
Would you like to?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. It's funny. There's very few. They're quite rare, and I'd love to do it after we did Moulin Rouge. I went on stage in London. I did Guys and Dolls for 6 months in London, which was amazing. And it's an amazing experience using music and storytelling. I just love it. But there's very few movies made that are musicals, and I'm just waiting for the next offer.
So you're ready to go. Because the questions from Alex, one of the people in the audience, wanted to know if you'd do it at Broadway, which would be great because I live near there. So
Yeah, I would like to do a musical on Broadway. Yeah. I sing in the new Pinocchio film that we're doing with Guillermo del Toro. I do a song in that.
Oh, there you go. And you said you'd like to do one. Are you into the musical arts?
Yeah. I like the when they in film when they really, as Ewan said, use music and Ewan's been in so many amazing, like Downward Love is brilliant. I think that's fantastic. Moulin Rouge is brilliant. I'd like to do like Book of Mormon as a film. Something which has that, or Spamalot, something that has some humor in there. That would be great.
And then, for both gentlemen, do you have a favorite film? Favorite movie that you like to watch? Not Star Wars or anything, just your favorite of all time.
I've got lots of favorite films, but ones that have stayed with me all my life. There's a film called Breaking Away. Does people know that film? About the cyclist.
Yeah.
I love that film. And Dennis Quaid's in it. He's really young. And it's about 4 friends. One of them is a mad, passionate cyclist. And he dreams of being the greatest heroes of the Italian cycle team, the Cinzano cycling team. And it's, where's he? The Indianapolis.
Bloomington, Indiana.
Indiana. And it's a wonderful story. And that's a film that I'll watch anytime, any day.
So it's a great movie. How about you, Rupert? Do you have a favorite film?
I can't not watch Indiana Jones if it's on, which is just like, to me, complete heaven. I also have a really soft spot for a little film that Stanley Tucci made called Big Night. It's just the most touching story, 2 brothers trying to make a restaurant work, and I don't know why, but I love that picture too. Yeah.
And so I'm not going to ask about Trainspotting 3 or Kenobi Season 2, but unless you want me to.
I'm totally up for it, guys. I want to do it. Sure.
Oh, you're up for doing it. And you made it out too, so we could maybe possibly see you. But you're saying there's nothing known, or maybe not any planning at all.
I'm absolutely honest. There's no plan to make one yet, but I think I'm pretty sure they're just biding their time. I think but nobody's approached me as yet.
It was a huge success with the largest premiere in Disney Plus history.
Yeah, come on, Disney, come on. Yeah.
Come on, let's do it. Yeah,
Let's do it.
I'm all for it. What do you have any other projects you can talk about? Both of you. Any other things coming up, outside of Star Wars?
Yeah, I made a movie with Wes Anderson last year, which was the phenomenal experience, and I'm going off to do another one next month, actually. Yeah.
I saw it. It's really good.
You've seen
I
it?
saw that you're in one that's out now.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, that's a French Dispatch.
Yes.
Yeah. I just stand around in my underwear for about.
No,
10
but it was
seconds.
great.
Yes, it's great.
I really enjoyed it. I really did. So you did another one since then?
Two since then. He's working a lot at the moment.
That's great.
Yeah.
I made a film with my daughter, Clara, at the end of last year, which is based loosely on our own experience in the last 4 or 5 years, and was the most amazing experience. She had the story written, she produced it, got all the right people involved in it, and we shot in New Mexico for 6-7 weeks last year, and it's beautiful. So that's coming out. We're going to try and take that to some film festivals, maybe this year, or certainly hope to take it to ones at the beginning of next year. And then I made a film with Rodrigo Garcia, who's a friend of mine, called Raymond and Ray, where I play half brothers with Ethan Hawke, and we're going to take to Toronto Film Festival. So those are the 2 projects that are coming out.
So we got some things looking forward to, and hopefully we'll get enough push behind Kenobi and transporting 3. I can't say that word tonight. I have no idea.
Transporting 3? That's a whole nother
Trainspotting 3.
Shocking movie.
transporting 3.
Thanks. This is the Bible part. It's going to go all over the internet. I'm going to have to answer this.
Yeah. We may find that in the post, that script.
But those 2 movies were
3.
great. Trainspotting. But
Like George did, they'll make 3 first, and then go back and make 1 and 2.
like a prequel in the 70s. But gentlemen, I want to thank you both for coming. This was just such a great talk, and you guys are both going to be in the main hall for the remainder of the afternoon. And
Yes,
you guys come on by and see them. But again, thank you very much. This was a blast. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Ewan McGregor.
And thanks for having us. It's great to be in Texas, and it's been great to meet you all, and I look forward to meeting the rest of you this afternoon.